Gratitude is such a peaceful feeling because you're so at ease. You're in such a present moment of awareness of all the abundance that not only that you have, but that there is around you and that there is available not only to you but for everyone else. And it's really savoring that moment and really sitting in it and letting it fill you up, right? Grateful, right? So you're full of it. And when you become full of it, it's how you heal yourself. But then going out in the world, you have so much to offer. You're so full, you're bursting at the seams, and you need to give it to someone else.
Stay connected to gratitude. Hit the follow button right now and join thousands of listeners tuning in each week. We're the Gratitude Seekers. Come join us. Hi, Gratitude Seeker. Welcome to a new episode of the Gratitude Podcast. Today with us, we have the Happiness Girl. Her name is Ashley Braxton, and she is here with us in the podcast, but physically, she's in Barcelona. Hi, Ashley.
Hello. How are you today? Thanks for having me on this podcast.
I'm good. I'm really excited to have you here, and judging by the questions that you asked me before getting on, I think this is going to be a really insightful discussion, and I'm sure that our listeners will have lots of nuggets of wisdom to give them new perspectives and new ideas on how they can improve their life one way or another.
Exactly.
So, tell us a little bit more about you. We will be touching on some specific topics that I'm particularly curious about. But firstly, let us know a little bit more about you.
Yes, thank you. My name is Ashlee. Hello, everyone. I grew up in Maryland in the United States. And I, shortly after high school, moved to Los Angeles, went right into work. And a few years after that, moved to Europe. And I feel like my home is in Europe now. And so now I do a lot of my work here, and I am a coach. So I do a lot of business and life coaching, just helping people. I think that's my overall mission in life. And I do that through various ways, through my own podcast or other joys and travel and things that I enjoy. And so I just spread happiness as much as I possibly can.
That's wonderful. That's wonderful. And it's actually what we all long for, to be happy, or at least to be happy at as much as possible for a longer period of time and as often as we can. So, my first question is regarding you moving from the US to Europe. First, you moved to France. Now you're living in Spain, Barcelona. You lived in Paris. I'm very curious if you've seen some major differences culturally, and I'm thinking about specifically related to gratitude. If you've seen some differences that you thought were interesting being an American and coming to Europe to do new different cultures?
Mhm. This is such a great question, and it's very real, and I love where I come from. However, it's sometimes heartbreaking because I have such a way of life that I'm connected to here in Europe. So, to the most simplest things, such as food, for example, food here, a lot of it is locally grown. You know, we've got farmers in France protesting on the streets if you're not eating their food, and food, it's a beautiful thing, and it's a part of earth, and you're eating it and you're using it to nourish your body. And so the way food is presented here in Europe, it's more in the wholesome form, and we respect seasons, the way food is grown as well, where sometimes in the US you can find certain foods year round, which in a sense is nice, but at the same time, how do we take the time to respect the earth, as much as the earth respects us? So I've learned how to look at things very different, and it's the small things that matter in life. Same things such as coffee. It's so easy in America to go through the drive-through of Starbucks and to grab a massive coffee and chug it in your car on the way to work. Whereas European culture, it's more designed that, where did the coffee come from? How do we understand these fresh grounded beans? And, in Greece, you always have water with your coffee to cleanse the palate. It's just, I love the way, and it's not to say that this doesn't happen in the US, it's just less often and less available to others. And I love European culture in the sense of how they relate to food. So there's so many other things, but just those little tidbits of life really make a difference, and it really changes your routine and how you walk and how you and how you function during the day. So I hope I'm not rambling, but
No, no.
in a short sense, that's kind of what I mean. That is what I mean.
Mm-hmm. That's very interesting. I think you have a pretty unique perspective, having lived in many places in the world, having visited a lot of other places as well. And yeah, I think so. The reason for my question is because I believe that we can learn from each other, and usually traveling gives us new perspectives, new ways of being, if we are open to that. And many things, of course, in the US culture are great, as well as in the European culture, and we can learn from each other and choose the kind of life that we want. And this is actually what you did, right? That you
Yeah.
moved to Europe, and yeah, that you wanted to explore a new culture and experience it.
Yes, exactly. And it's just to touch what you said. You learn so much when you're able to humble yourself enough to put yourself in new situations, to learn new things, to learn how others do. And when you allow yourself that, then it's so great because then you have options. You have the option to pick how you want to live, what feels good to you, and then you can proceed to do it. But the more encounters that you have, the more you put yourself in those positions to sit and learn, then the more you do learn, and it's more beneficial for you.
Mhm. That's so true. And getting back to what you just shared about food and about coffee, I think um, related to gratitude, what I got from it is that Europeans have a culture of appreciating the experience as of coffee, for instance, of being with other people and enjoying the coffee itself, not just using it as a way of getting through the day. Am I getting that right?
Yes. Yes.
Exactly. So, yeah, I think these small differences at times are creating a different lifestyle. And yeah, I believe that we can learn from other people, from other cultures, and um, create, even if we are in the US or in Europe or wherever we are in the world, create some habits based on the things that we've seen, we've experienced, or we've heard about, like you're hearing now on the podcast, that you can choose to um, drink your coffee in another way, or um, think about food in a different way. And I think that's just adding to the great fullness of life. How brother David Steindl-Rast likes to talk about gratefulness. And by the
Yes.
way, what is gratitude for you? Like, how do you define it?
Oh, gratitude for myself is such a such a peaceful feeling because you're so at ease. You're in such a present moment of awareness of all the abundance that not only that you have, but that there is around you and that there is available not only to you but for everyone else. And it's really savoring that moment and really sitting in it and letting it fill you up, right? Grateful, right? So you're full of it. And when you become full of it, it's how you heal yourself. But then going out in the world, you have so much to offer. You're so full, you're bursting at the seams, and you need to give it to someone else. And I think when you sit in those moments and you realize that you can have and truly find it what it is for you, because it's different for everyone, but at the same time the same. But practice filling yourself up so much that gratitude becomes a way of life, and it also becomes a part of your routine, and it's almost not an addiction, but it's something that you need to have, you need to do. That's my definition of gratitude.
I love it. And yeah, I can definitely feel your incorporating it in your own life, and in this moment you really have a peaceful presence, and I'm sure that our listeners have already tuned in to your peaceful presence. And um, I think it's great that you're able to do this, having lived in such big cities. Usually people take on that energy, like
Mm-hmm.
um, they tend to be more rushed, more agitated. Even it gets even in their personality. They
Right.
become a bit different. How did you manage to stay so calm and peaceful living in such big cities?
I'm so grateful for the awareness that I have to be able to read people and see who they are. And when you look around and see how many people are unhappy, and if you really sit and listen to what an unhappy person sounds like, it's not very good. And I didn't accept that. I didn't want to wake up every day and accept that this is how life was or how it should be. And so I specifically put myself in a position where I wouldn't have to experience that, and I could practice other things during the day, and I could also help those people, which is why I do the coaching that I do, to help bring those people who are nonstop, not even 9 to 5s, 9 to 9s, and they're just running around and they have a lot of things to do, how to help them come back to the center. It's like, whoa, 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 hey, slow down. Everything's fine. You can have all the same things, and you can have this other peace inside of you that feels really good. So you can have all the good. We don't need to have sprinkles of good. We can have good all the time, all day, every day. So I've learned how to do that, and I practice it. But I also feel very, I don't know, I have like some sort of gratitude about that, actually, that I am able to do that, because sometimes it's not easy for people to do that.
Yeah, most definitely. And yeah, I loved how you define gratitude for you. And I especially love the part about being present. And I think the fact that gratitude helps us to become present once more at the abundance, the blessings that we have. It actually helps us just be in the present moment, instead of being in the past, thinking about things that maybe didn't go as we planned, or things in the future that might happen. We're just seeing what is, and we're appreciating what is.
Yeah.
And yeah, that gives us a wonderful state of peace.
It does.
Yeah, I love this. And even though it's so simple, it's so important. And you mentioned helping others. I think it's similar to what we're told on planes, that we first have to take care of ourselves, and afterwards we can take care of others if we want to help them. And yeah, when we're able to be in this state of peace, of being in the present, not being afraid of the future, or I don't know, unhappy about the past. Yeah, we're just here.
We're here. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's the acceptance of, it's like it's just as you said, like the acceptance of the past, that you can't change it at all. So just leave it. And it's the pleasant excitement for the future without any of the anxiety or fear or anything. So it's a mix of those two things.
Yeah, I love that. And yeah, indeed, when we are at peace in the present moment, we can't be thinking about things that we are afraid of in the future. And
yeah,
I find this fascinating, because at times this is really hard to do. Like we're talking about it right now. I believe we are both in this state. Hopefully our listeners are choosing this state as well. But to be honest, it's not always easy to be present. Do you have some tips for us on how we can be in the present moment more often?
Oh, yes. Well, first and foremost is meditation, right? Any form, any time, any type, any way that speaks to you, because we're all different. But taking the time to find the meditation that works best for you, and sitting in that, it's such a beautiful thing. And also just finding more intention about what you're doing. So I like to start my day by knowing what I'm going to be doing, but why I'm doing it. And when I know the why, then it becomes an affirmation when I wake up. So you're able to say I am, and then the intention behind it, it's so full, and you find yourself being able to do things more in the present moment because your awareness is on the attention and the I am. And so you find more peace, I find, when you do things that way. But I think those are the tips that I have.
That's wonderful. I've come to understand that the wisest things are the most simple ones. And it's just about actually pursuing them and making them part of our life. And it's then when we actually see great results. Like with gratitude, if we make it a part of our life, a habit, something that we do without even thinking about it. Similar with meditation. And I think even this being in the present moment is something if we rehearse enough can be just part of who we are, like it is in your case, right?
It's so true. That was beautifully said. Yes.
Yeah, I love this. And I think it's something so simple and so easy to overlook.
Yes. It's so easy. And it's so easy sometimes to get wrapped up. I know I used to get like that when I first understood the work that I could do. I was so excited about it, but then I would go too much in the future, and then I was just, your mind starts racing and you think about 1,000 things all at once, and I'm excited, I'm excited to find this balance, but then I got too excited. So then there's also the too excitement part where I'm just turning page by page of every book and soaking everything up, and whoa. So, I mean, but that's also nice in a sense. Like, it's good that you're excited, but if we can all come back, just come back and come back in the moment. Draw it in, Ashley. That's what I have to say to myself. Draw it in, draw it in.
Yeah, that's wonderful and so powerful, because especially nowadays with all of this information that we have about different things that are happening in the world, it's really hard at times to just get to be objective about everything that's happening and to not go into all of those states that people tend to go into.
Yeah, it's very true.
Like the fact that we can find our center and know that we are in control of our life, for me that's very valuable and very important, because otherwise, if we react to every single thing and every person um, that feels that things are bad or so,
Mm-hmm.
we're just going in that direction, and we're not helping that person or those people, and we're not helping ourselves either. So
Right.
yeah.
Yeah. Yes, that's very true.
Okay, so another topic that I wanted to ask you about is if you can share with our audience some of the things that make you feel grateful. Like if you could think about a few things right now, maybe some people that you're grateful for in your life.
Oh, I like this question. I like this question. Does it have to be specific or can be anything?
You can feel free to express yourself how it
Ooh.
feels
I
best.
do this every morning, when you first wake up is something that I do. It's like, what am I grateful for? And it's almost like a rant that goes on. But specifically, wow. Well, um, I guess as I'm like looking around, pretty grateful for the room that I'm in. It's it it it's such an ambiance of peace and quiet, and so to be able to do that and find a room where I am in sunny Barcelona to have such a quiet podcast, it's been very great. I'm very grateful for that. Um, I'm also grateful for a few mentors that I have in my life who have helped me find some tools to do for the end of 2021 to release, some sort of blockages that I have been experiencing, and to leave them in the past and not bring them back into 2022. So it's been about, what is today, the 10th, if I'm not mistaken.
Mm-hmm.
It's the 10th. So to have 10 days of feeling lighter and freer, and I've even had someone help me learn how to really dig into my throat chakra to figure out the blockages there. And so to be able to have others around you who can, well, who have helped me see things in myself that perhaps I couldn't see, and for me to apply what they asked me to do with the intention of knowing that I was going to be better, and then now to actually feel better, I have to give massive gratitude to those humans, because that's also a selfless thing to do, is to help someone, even if it's just, read this book or read this quote or practice this mantra or whatever sprinkle they gave me. I'm extremely grateful for that, because it's starting off, it's only 10 days into the new year, and I'm like, life is amazing. So I'm looking forward to having many more of those. um, I think that's all and I think, no, not I think, I also have gratitude for the world and the people in it, because COVID has made times uneasy. And so to watch others every day put on a mask, or just to care about other humans, that's been nice to see. And I have gratitude for the people every day who want the world to be a better place. I think that's nice, because whether they're in their home, giving gratitude, you may not see it, but I'd like to think that you could feel it. So I think the people that are able to give gratitude every day, I have gratitude for those people.
That's such a wonderful perspective. And yes, indeed, if there's one thing that this pandemic has taught us is that we are interconnected. And what we do one way or another impacts other people.
Mm-hmm.
And even if we don't see it, because in most situations, people didn't even know that they were spreading the virus, right?
Right.
And I believe that in a similar way, even if we don't see the fact that we are spreading positive vibes of some sort, like gratitude, that doesn't mean that this doesn't happen and it doesn't have an impact. And the impact, especially nowadays, can be quite big. And what we do, our kindness, our thoughtful words, our gratitude can impact people. And I think this is a really beautiful vision that you just shared. And yeah, it just proves that we are so connected and that we can influence people in a positive way. And I just love that vision. And I think it's very empowering, because when you think about the bad things that are happening, you feel like you can't do much about them. But when you realize that you can actually, and the things you are doing are influencing people, well, it's a whole nother story. You feel much more empowered, and you know that you're part of it and we're connected.
It's very true.
All right, so we're nearing the end of our time together, and I wanted to ask you about where people can get in touch with you. Where can they write or find out more about you, about your work?
Yes, everyone can go to my website at www.ashleybraxton.com, and you can find all my latest endeavors in life because they change quite often, but my latest endeavors are there. And so feel free to drop a line at any time. That's always nice to hear. Just a hello. Hellos are nice.
Yeah, I love that perspective. It's true. Just saying hello and connecting with people with our words, with something that we can see, even though that, like we just talked about, we are connected. The fact that we reach out to each other and we share this connection and we make it visible somehow, because people are going to be listening to this in many parts of the world, and in that way we are connected. But when we actually get to see that connection through a message, I think that's really special. And I love the fact that you mentioned this.
Yes, thank you.
My pleasure. So thank you very much for being here with us, for sharing your wisdom and your peace and calmness with us. Thank you.
Thank you. The pleasure is all mine. Thank you.
Hey, Gratitude Seeker, thank you so much for taking the time to listen to this interview. I really appreciate it. And if you could think of one person that would also benefit from it, share it with them. It might actually be the inspiration that they need to make their day or maybe even their life much better. Thank you so much once again. This has been Georgian Benta. don't forget to keep seeking and spreading gratitude.
They don't call her confiscation Kamala for nothing. Don't take it from us.
And I support a mandatory buyback program.
A mandatory buyback program? That means the government forcing you to turn in your firearms. To what lengths would Kamala go? Well, she doesn't even support the individual right to own a firearm.
I'm prepared to take executive action and put in place a ban on the importation of assault weapons into our country.
We get it. Sometimes it's tough to understand what she's talking about. But on the Second Amendment and your rights, confiscation Kamala has been crystal clear. Her gun control agenda comes straight from that petri dish of bad ideas that is California. She can claim to be a gun owner all she wants, but we all know she's the same anti-gun California radical she's always been. Don't be left defenseless. Defeat confiscation Kamala. Vote Trump like your life depends on it, because it does. NRA Political Victory Fund paid for and is responsible for the content of this advertising. Not authorized by any candidate or candidates committee. NRAPVF.org.